Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for June 19th. Okay, there's going to be 4 tickers on today. Let's get on with it right now. First up, we have AMD. Just going to load up drawings on AMD real quick. This is going to be the third day I'll be watching AMD since it is in play, and because I've been trading it for a few days now, I kind of understand what's going on with AMD now. Loading up these drawings real quick. As you can see, AMD had a bounce day today from this massive sell-off. Okay, and today I caught it on the long at 29.75, and I rode it all the way up. Sold it at I believe. Hold on. Let's see here. I sold it at 30.71. Okay, so right around this area I sold it. Okay, and that was basically it. And then I also shorted it from this area right here at 11.35 to be exact, and brought it all the way down to the 30s. Okay, now as you can see, after the run up and the fade today, it held a bottom at the 30s, and then it started grinding up, and then coming over here, you see that it held a sideways range. Okay, and it's slowly moving up as well. This move is very bullish. Okay, after hours it broke out of its range over here on this ascending triangle, and it looks like we are getting a gap up. So what I want to see tomorrow is whoever bought here around the late day area. Okay, whoever bought this bottom of the range or bought around this area, as you can see, it's riding the uptrend. I want to see them take profits tomorrow at the gap up, pre-market or at the open, right? We are coming into a very key level of 31. Okay, as shown on a daily level as well on the double top. The stock has reclaimed the 9 EMA. Taking a look here right now, I'm going to mark off this resistance right here. I do anticipate this thing to have another run up, to be quite honest, because of this very bullish move of this ascending triangle breakout here. But I don't want to buy at the highs, definitely not. I'm looking for a dip and a pullback, okay, specifically to this $30.70 area, which is basically the high of this range, right? So if I draw a little line like this, okay, and right here around the 30.50s, okay, this is kind of like the range. It held a little bit above VWAP right after hours, and then it broke out. So I want to see a gap up over here, open, dip to hold around the 30.70, and then rip again. Now the 30.50 would be my final line in the sand, the support here, the 30.50. 30.60 as well made some good support and slash resistance. Okay, so coming over here on the 30.50 area, you see that I have the orange line marked off. This is my line in the sand. Okay, if it snaps under this 30.50, which is actually the uptrend line as well, you can see the stock continue to sell, and know that this is a failed breakout. But it does look, overall the market does look pretty bullish for today and perhaps tomorrow as well, because a lot of people are anticipating a Federal Reserve rate cut tomorrow, like a interest rate cut. They're coming out with the announcement tomorrow around 2 o'clock, I believe, the meeting. So I do anticipate a bullish run, at least for the early part of the trading day tomorrow. So looking for a dip and rip. 30.70 is where I'll be looking for a double bottom or higher low. Something like if I go to the 1 minute chart, something like what I caught today would be this. Let me show you real quick. I'll show you how I entered. Last night, I mean, it was pretty much spot on. I called the 29.65 area to hold, and this is basically where the 29.65 area is, right here. So as I was watching it open, I basically saw this fail, saw this suck right back up, came down. This hard pull, it refused to break down, right? The opening lows. Okay, this is when I was pretty sure I got it and I nailed it, right? So I waited a little bit more. Um, I did buy in on this candle, but this pull down kind of scared me out real quick. So I stopped out, and then it got sucked right back up. The next candle I got right back in, right here above the VWAP when I saw that it made a double bottom. This is a buyer's candle, and I saw that it was basically a fake out for me, and I jumped right back in as soon as possible, and I got the average of 29.75 right here, and basically rode it all the way up. Okay, so this is the type of action that I'll be expecting tomorrow around the 30.70 area. Okay, and once I see this again, I'll get long, and I'll anticipate my first target here is 31. Obviously, um, nice 40 cents, which is all right. It's kind of like 1% for AMD, right? And then a breakout though would make the stock actually squeeze. Okay, and then the 3140s is the next area that we're looking at. If I zoom out over here real quick here. Um, yeah, around the 3140s area is the next target. Okay, and then we have another target around the 3180s area. Okay, so looking for a dip and rip, expecting this uptrend line to hold. The stock has reclaimed 30, and it does look like a reversal. So, I mean, if we're just going to look at today's action, we have a nice pull and a flag here right now. And this flag after hours is breaking out, but it's on very low volume. So I am anticipating a pullback first and then hold some sort of support, higher low from these lows, right? And then run back up. So AMD. Next up, I want to talk about Adobe ADBE. Okay, so let's load up some drawings right here on Adobe here. ADBE. Adobe has earnings after hours. Okay, let's change this back to a 5-minute chart. Adobe had earnings after hours, and their earnings was, the reaction was very positive. Now, coming over here to the 30-minute chart, we are currently sitting a little bit under the 290 area. Okay, so let me get you the exact price here. Closing price 289.25. Okay, so coming on a daily chart, 289.25, right about here. So after hours, it did close pretty strong, and you can see that the stock is nearing its all-time highs here at 291.75 or 291.70, which I've marked off here using a purple line. Okay, zoom out a little bit. Now, what I want to see is, because the stock is so overextended, I do want to see a pullback first, a dip and hold, and then run again. The first immediate support I've circled over here. Let's move the circle out of the way. Okay. And the reason why I choose this area as support is after hours, see how this is the bounce here at 630, the low at 287. And then here on the first push, it's also the 287 highs with massive volume. So it broke out, this candle broke out the 287, came down, held it, and proved it, and now it's running. So we are anticipating a gap up. This is a very first immediate support that I'm looking at, the 287. Okay. Since we are anticipating a gap up, so really depends on how far it gaps up, right? It's going to be very interesting at this 291.75 area, all-time highs. And if it can break over, then good, right? But I don't know. It's so overextended. I am anticipating a little bit pull down profit take tomorrow to kind of fill the gap. As you can see, I mean, today, just today alone, people were buying it a little bit, anticipating the earnings, right? We did have a green day, a positive open and finish strong, and a green day, right? And then as we come down here, if this 287 doesn't hold, and then we could get the next area at 285, which is also very key psychological whole number. Coming over here on the daily chart, this is 285 area, right? So if 287 doesn't hold, it'll want to test 285 for sure. Definitely don't want to get in early. You know what I mean? I'd rather short the dip out the gates at the all-time highs, but knowing that this is a positive earnings catalyst and it is going to all-time highs, got to be very, very careful, very tight with my stops here. If it breaks out, it's going to squeeze. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are watching this overextension, and the short sellers are probably salivating at any chance it shows a sign of weakness, which could actually trap a lot of shorts. So that's something you got to think about here. And finally, this breakout area of 283, once we had the after hours breakout, it held, tested, proven, broke out again, and then came down, held, tested, proven, 285, broke out again. So very clear, concise support areas that we can long off of. I like this for the long more than I do the short, but I will have two theses on here. So the short thesis is around this 291.75 to 292 area, okay? And if I were to short, I don't expect the stock to lose all its gains. I just anticipate it to pull back and then run back up. This 285, definitely a must watch here, okay? The stock has an average true range of $6.30, so it can move. All right, Boeing, a lot of great news about Boeing today, and Boeing had a major run up. Let's load up some drawings here real quick. BA. Okay. As you can see, a similar bubble here on the major support area that I'm looking at. The stock basically ran huge, right? Today it had a lot of news about its 737 MAX, Boeing MAX jet being reestablished, and people are ready to buy it and use it again. So this is a pretty nice recovery news for Boeing in itself. After hours, it just shot way up, and currently it's holding at around the 275 area. So right around here, that's where it is right now. So let's mark that off with the blue line. And since the stock is so overextended, I do anticipate some sort of pullback. And if a pullback does happen, I'll be watching this 271.18 area to hold it. Okay. Key resistance, or see what it really does tomorrow. The most important level is the 375 that I'll be watching, which is right here. First of all, is the psychological whole number. Second of all, it's right at the halfway mark, right? The 370, 380 area, we're actually kind of stuck in this range. The 380, we have the 100 SMA on the daily chart. Okay, so I'll be watching the 380 as well. Okay, very overextended. I don't know. I do like it for the continuation long because of such good news. Okay, yeah. So looking for a pullback and a rip. Let's see some of these areas here. This is a 368.50s area. Okay, I want to talk about. That's a support area, which is also the VWAP of yesterday, and then the 371.20s. Okay, so looking for a pullback and rip. It might gap up tomorrow, gap up huge tomorrow, and if it gaps up around this over this 375, I'm going to look for a pullback to 375 hold and then continue to rip tomorrow. Average true range for the stock is $8.80. Okay, so lots of range. And then finally, we have AVGO, Broadcom. Okay, so Broadcom, I don't know if I talked about this last night. I was definitely looking at it. It was still on my watch list. I just pretty preoccupied with AMD, so I didn't play Broadcom. Ticker symbol AVGO. Let's load up some drawings here real quick. AVGO. Now, AVGO is very interesting because the stock has now reclaimed the 270 area, okay? What I'm looking at here is that the stock is reaching, about to fill the gap from its earnings drop, right? The high of this gap is at 284.50s, okay? And however, today's move was pretty overextended from this trend that we see for the past few days for this recovery. And I like to see a pullback tomorrow. The stock did close pretty well. It's fading a little bit. It did close pretty well. We have a massive tick here after hours that closed at the 280. So depending on what it does tomorrow pre-market, I personally am anticipating a gap up and testing this double top area at the 280, 250s, 283 area again, and then a pullback tomorrow. Just because it's so overextended, I'd like the pullback to come all the way back down to the 275 area, and then from there we might get a bounce back up. Overall market is pretty strong though, so I don't expect the pullback to be all day fade, and as it pulls back to this 275, I'm anticipating it to chop sideways and then maybe slightly higher lows up, and we can ride that back up again. But overall, I mean, it is a bad catalyst from the earnings. I mean, they cut guidance, they cut the guidance revenue for the whole year as well. So this is just a little bit ahead of itself. I do like the short here. This is going to be on my main watch here on AVGO. Okay, so that's basically my watch list for this evening. I do want to mention real quick, HTZ Hertz. I am watching on the side. The stock is very overextended, all because of a rights offering. Now, I don't have experience with trading rights offerings, and I'm just reading on it right now. Overall, my first impression is, okay, the stock is reaching the $20 level. Here, let me bring this in. The stock is reaching the $20 level, and my first impression is to actually short it from the 20. However, because of the catalyst though, I think there's something more to it than just an overextension. It's a rights offering. I think it's kind of like a secondary IPO where all the insiders who are owning all these shares, they have a fixed time period before they can start selling. Okay, and the rights offering proposed that all the private investors get to buy the rights at $12.95. So that's a major discount, and it's been going on since June 13th now. So for the past 4-5 days already. If this stock was supposed to dump like a usual offering, it would have already. So I'm kind of hesitating to pull the trigger on the short here at this 20 area. Although normally, typically, that is what I would do. However, the catalyst says otherwise. So for me, I'm just going to put this on the side watch and study it and try to learn as much as I can about rights offerings as possible, because this type of catalyst will definitely come in handy in the future for me when I know when I see another rights offering, and I'll know how to trade it then. Okay, so if you want to read more about the rights offering on FinViz, there's news on the rights offering right here on June 13th at 6 a.m. Okay, so I've read it already and I find it very interesting, so I'm just going to keep this on the side watch. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.